As freelancers, I know many of you have this question about following up, right? How often do I follow up and how much is too much? And when do I know that I am doing it too much? I also used to have these questions in my head, like when I was new on Upwork, and there was a lot of fear in me that I have to close the contract, have to get the job, and I don't want to risk losing the job. I know you can relate to that, right? Like, because when you're new on Upwork and it really matters to you to get the contract, and the worst case, if the job has really good pay, then the fear goes up because you really want to get the job. And that shows up in different ways, the way you talk to the client. And in my experience, whenever I'm driven by fear, like what if I miss the contract and kind of push the client, I end up losing the client. How many of you can relate to that? Just because you were just afraid that you might lose and you maybe texted too much to the client trying to close, you just pushed them away, right? It happens a lot. So I just wanted to shoot a short video trying to explain my thoughts on it and how I go about following up with my clients. So this happened yesterday. I just wanted to show you a real example with one of my clients. I sent a proposal to this client on 14th of Jan. That's like a week before. And I will not go into like how I write my proposal, like those things. I do separate sessions for it. If you're interested, you can let me know in the comments if you want me to do a separate session on how to write proposals. Okay. So I write a proposal and the client responded. Right? She says that we think you are a good fit for a company, and then they discuss budget. And then I kind of agree to the budget. And that happened on Jan 14th, right? And then that was a Saturday. And then on Jan 16th, I sent a follow-up message on Monday, and the client hasn't responded. So what did I do? I sent another follow-up on Tuesday, and the client didn't respond again. And I sent another follow-up on Wednesday. Again, no response. And then I sent another follow-up on Friday. And then finally, exactly after 1 week, that's like 7 days, the client responds. And they say, she misspelled my name. That the key is, he says, thank you for your persistence and constant check-in. We had a bit of a setback, so they had some issue at the end. And then they say, if you're still interested and if you're available, we would like to work on this project with you. That's it. There are a couple of things I want to bring your attention to in this follow-up, right? There is a subtle difference between following up and being needy. What I mean by that is when I look at the messages, I'm not saying maybe the first update, I'm saying, hi Rachel, any updates? But I'm not saying like, I'm really interested. I can do the job really well for you. Please let me know how we can take it ahead. Or I'm not saying, I think I'm a really good candidate for this. I can even give you a better rate. Do you think the budget is a concern? I'm really looking forward to hearing back from you and let me know what are your thoughts. Or I'm not saying, um, I can definitely work on this project and I really want to work on this project. I'm hoping to hear from you as soon as possible. Please get back to me. I didn't say none of that, right? I just followed up, just followed up. The difference between the examples I gave and what I did here is that when you're trying to bring more points about why you're following up, it kind of shows that you are needy, even though you really want to close the job. It kind of shows up that you are needy, right? In other words, it can come across that as if you have nothing else to do. That's how the client sees it. I hope you can understand the kind of perspective I'm trying to get at, right? Because when you're just sending a follow-up, it's just a follow-up. But when you're trying to close, like add value, like show that you can do, show that you really need the project, it kind of pushes the client away. And I see a lot of freelancers doing that. They think they are following up, but actually they're just showing that they are needy. They need the contract. And when, especially when the price for the contract is high, let's say if it was, I don't know, high is very relative. So maybe if it is high for you, let's say it was $1,000, and you are just sitting and sending a lot of messages, the chances of you getting hired goes down. So that's a subtle difference between following up and being needy. I want to bring to you, right? And one another mistake which I see a lot of freelancers do is, if you're in a negotiation stage with the client on the chat and you mention a price, the client don't get back to you, there is nothing wrong in following up. Let's say you quoted, let's say for video editing, you quoted $100 and the client hasn't responded to you, maybe after 10 or 5 or 10 minutes, it's okay to just send a follow-up message. Hey, I would like to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think about it? Never ever go and say, if you think it's too high, I can get it done for $80. Never do that. Because when you're saying, even before the client objects, if you're going to push your price down, it clearly shows that you're trying to manipulate the client. No one wants to get manipulated, right? So never do that. That's something I wanted to share with you, because I see a lot of freelancers doing that. Just because the client is silent, they think the client thinks that the price is high, and then they just negotiate against themselves and end up losing the project. And the third point is, if the client asks you to wait, ask when you can follow up. Because generally clients are busy, right? Maybe they, like in this case, they might have had a setback and they need more time, and they forgot to update you. So when you ask when you can follow up, and they give you a timeline like, okay, check in with me on next week. So you have a reason to check in with them, right? So you wait till then, and there is no fear or anything at that point, because you have clearly communicated that you want to follow up, and then you're just going to do that. If you are in doubt, follow up. In case you think that, let's say in this job post, it's exactly the job post which I was talking about, this one. In this, you can see that 5 to 10 freelancers applied. The client is just interviewing me. That means the chances of me getting hired is really high. So I can be a little bit relaxed. But if you see that the client is interviewing 5 or 6 candidates and you're kind of panicking, like you want to get hired, it's okay to follow up. Maybe every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. I follow up every 5 or 10 minutes, but I don't become needy. I just follow up. Hey, what do you think about it? Hey, is there any update on this? I sometimes even say that, I just be completely honest and say that I know, I can see that you're interviewing many candidates. What needs to happen for us to make this work? As simple as that. You see? And most probably than not, the client responds to you. Not because you are following up, but because you are asking good questions and you're not showing neediness. That's really, really key. And yeah, I think I covered this point. Don't overdo it. When I say don't overdo it, when you look at this and you see that the client is just interviewing you or just two people, and you can also see when the client last saw the job post, right? If the client has seen only 3 or 4 days back and the client hasn't got back to you in 3 or 4 days, it just shows that the client hasn't been online, and it's totally fine to wait or just send one follow-up a day. But if you see that the client is active, I mean, it says like last viewed 20 minutes back or last viewed 1 hour back, and the client has ignored your message, then definitely go ahead and send a follow-up. It doesn't hurt. The worst thing that can happen is the client doesn't hire you. But if you're just keeping quiet and not following up, you might not get the job. So I always have this motivation in my head, like, if in doubt, follow up, but don't be needy. Just follow. Any, I'm being really repetitive here. If you see, I'm just basically saying the same thing again and again, just following up. That works. And the worst case, as I said, the client just ghosts you, or they say, I hired someone else. The point is, when you do that, when they say they hired someone else, you can close it in a positive note, because you have established a contact with the client. Maybe you didn't get to work on this project, but definitely You can keep in touch with them. Maybe you can work on the future project, right? It's okay to be persistent. And the key point I want to bring here is I closed more deals following up with new and old clients than applying for new jobs. Because think about it, even if you say, let's say this client didn't hire me, let's say they said, I had another freelancer, sorry about that. You can just say, okay, I understand. I wish you good luck on this project. And you can just pitch your services. You can say, I do this, this, and this, and I'm really looking forward to working with you on future projects. And thanks for your time. Something like that. And close it. I actually go one step ahead and I actually maintain a list of all clients. I maintain a Google Sheet. I maintain a list of all clients that I have worked with so far, existing clients, old clients, or even clients who hasn't hired me, but I had the opportunity to chat with them. All of them I consider as warm clients. But when you're applying for a job and trying to close a new client, they're completely cold and you're trying to get them to choose you and chat with you and hire. It's relatively more difficult, right? Can even go to the extent and say 60% of my revenue comes from repeat clients. And that's in the follow-up. As they say, the sale is in the follow-up. And it is very much relevant to even on Upwork. So you can create your own system of setting up following up reminders. You can send follow-up reminders to clients, let's say weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, whichever you choose. I do it every 15 days to all the clients that have ever worked or chatted with. I send reminders. I, in the sense, my team sends reminders. I have set up a process. And yeah, I'm actually building app, kind of a app or tool that can automate this. And maybe I will give access to UBB students so that they can kind of do it automatically for the long-term follow-up. They don't have to sit and send template messages because it's boring, right? So yeah, that's and a bonus tip for you. Just wanted to share this with you. Send seasonal greetings. Goes a long way. No freelancers do that. Like I work with, as I said, I work with so many freelancers. So far, I have never received a greeting from any freelancer. They are like, did the project, done, close contract, finished. That's not how you build relationship with another human, right? You can just make a simple, you can do it on, I did this on Canva, and you just send the seasonal greetings to everyone you have chatted with on Upwork. It's once a year or twice a year, but it goes a long way. It makes a difference because it shows that you care and you treat them as a human. It's not just about the money, right? I actually send gifts, real gifts to my top clients. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do that if you really have the cash flow. I'm doing that maybe for the last 1 year because I generate enough cash flow from the projects from the clients. I want to give back to them and show that I value them as a token of appreciation. Just that's another step, one step up from sending seasonal greetings. But sending seasonal greetings costs you really nothing, maybe a few minutes of your time, and it goes a long way. So just want to show you an example, right? So I sent this in Christmas last year, and they say few of the clients responded, and they were really appreciative of it. Just want to show you this. This guy said, "I'm not a Christian, and hence do not celebrate Christmas, but thanks for the gesture." So you end with a positive note and you build a warm connection with the clients. So maybe next time when you send a follow-up message and they have a project, there are the chances of you getting hired for the project, even if you have never worked with the client before, goes up, right? So building a successful profile on Upwork is not just about sending proposals or writing kick-ass proposals and chatting with clients, negotiation, setting up your profile. All these matter, but it goes beyond that. These are kind of habits or processes that I put in place and do it every month, every bi-weekly, and it really helps me to close more clients. So I hope that was valuable to you. I just wanted to share these tips. So to end it, if in doubt, follow up. If you are interested in knowing more about how to set up your profile on Upwork, like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be posting more tips and hacks on YouTube. Thank you.